All right, guys, welcome to the Smile Theory podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Kizy. This podcast was born out of the last 5+ years of me working in the dental industry with dentists and dental professionals, primarily through my media company, 1289. I got to know incredible individuals, and they all have amazing stories and different visions and different styles and different ways of running their practices. And I thought this is a great way to share that with all of you, whether that inspires you or it's just interesting. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my first guest, a really good friend of mine, Dr. Justin Kammo, Profound Orthodontics. Justin, you and I have been working together for a long time. We grew up with each other. Our dads were best friends. We've known each other for a long time. So welcome to the show, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I love the idea. Smile Theory, it's a great concept. I look forward to seeing where this podcast heads, and I love working with you, and I want to see all the cool things we're going to make happen.
Sweet, man. Likewise. So let's just dive right in.
Yep.
Let's go back to the early years because I know you, right?
Yeah.
Since we were young. I think you started off on a different career path.
Yeah.
So I guess let's talk about pre-dentistry.
Yep.
What's going on?
Pre-dentistry, I was, just a regular guy playing sports all day, growing up playing hockey and basketball. Knew I always wanted to go to, college, but didn't really know what I wanted to do. Parents pushed me to do medicine like all Chaldean parents. And, I wasn't really the smartest kid in school, but I always worked hard. And then once I got into college, I kind of focused on, a medical field. And, my mom and dad always pushed me to pick a field that, I can grow and, scale. And, dentistry sounded like the cool thing at the time. And I didn't like pharmacy. I didn't like medicine like my sisters. And took a leap of faith and picked dentistry. And then that led me to orthodontics.
And you were, I think you underplayed that. You were a pretty good athlete, right?
Yeah,
You were traveling.
Yeah, I played hockey competitively, went to Russia with my dad for a week. But some things have to end, and you got to focus on your career.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the biggest things, you're probably already known by everybody who's going to be watching this podcast through social media. And I think you were kind of doing that before everybody was doing that. So I guess my question is, when did you first start seeing the value of social media, that this could be a vehicle to something bigger?
Yeah, I think during COVID, when we had so much time off, I was still in college for in orthodontic school. I kind of knew Instagram was the big thing at the time, and I knew that was a channel that I can create an audience, which hasn't been done by any orthodontists that I know of. And at the time, I was just thinking, what ways can I attract people? And I knew people want to see other people, and I knew people want to see, athletes. So I kind of spoke into existence, and I kept saying to myself that I wanted to be the person that's known in the community that does orthodontics. So I always say the thing, when you say the words braces and Invisalign, I hope my name pops into your mind. So I had to plant the seed at a younger and early age. And it didn't start with a lot of followers. I started small. And then I just kept posting with people in the community, athletes that started to come in. And then my name just became associated with Instagram. And I just knew that at the time, everybody was on Instagram. And everybody wanted to see who goes to where,
right,
and what are they getting.
Yeah.
So you put those two together, and you'll build a great community.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was about the time that you and I started. I remember you calling me and telling me the same exact thing when I designed your logo, your first website, the color scheme. So you've had, I think, success on social in a lot of different things. You're known for your giveaways.
Yep.
You're known for the sports.
Yeah.
How did you end up working with so many athletes?
Yeah. So it's crazy because all my friends will tell you that I always wanted to work with athletes. So I spoke that into existence. I always say speaking something into existence will work, as long as you put your mind to it and put the work in. But it all started just by, I didn't have an office at the time. I graduated ortho school. My wife had an office, a dental office that she was starting to grow. And I would just park my equipment there on a Saturday. People were hitting me up on Instagram slowly and wanted to be seen. And I would see people out of her office, and I'd always just try to take a picture with them, try to showcase my work. And that led to other people starting to come in and seeing their friends getting stuff, and that helped build the community. Then I started shooting my shots with athletes, and one led to the other, and I started treating some Michigan athletes. And I always say right time, right place.
Sure.
Timing is everything. And the Michigan team and the Lions teams were just starting to get to the top. So I kind of hit at the right time where the athletes that I was treating became really good, and the teams became really good, and that introduced me to a network of athletes, and then it just took off from there.
I remember like I would see like every weekend you're
Yeah.
posting a picture with somebody that you ran into, and I
Yeah.
was like thinking, I was like, man, I wouldn't even know who these people are if
Yeah.
I seen them.
Yeah, yeah.
So like it always stuck with me that was your thing.
Yeah, I just think it was really cool, especially as a kid growing up. You see a lot of these athletes, if someone had an autographed picture in their office, I thought it was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And now you come to my office, you see like a whole wall full of that memorabilia. So as a kid, I can only imagine what they think when they come into the office.
Right. I was actually just about to say that kind of became part of your visual
Yeah,
brand
my brand.
identity too.
Yep.
There's jerseys,
Yeah.
signatures. It's really sweet.
Yeah. And it keeps it fun for me because I like sports. So
Right.
keeps it fun at work, and that's why I enjoy going to work every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the giveaways. What was your logic behind that? What got you
Yeah.
into it?
Giveaways was always a cool thing. I always saw it on Instagram, and I thought it was super cool. People giving out Teslas, the ultra celebrities, the ultra influencers.
Yeah.
But I'd never seen it done on a local level. You would see, smaller things be given away, but never like consistent, right? It was never part of that person's brand. So I just, I started during ortho school giving out free, like a toothbrush.
Yeah.
People think I just started giving away major items. It was toothbrush, $10, $20 Starbucks cards, Mother's Day cards, and things like that. But I stayed consistent with building that brand.
Yeah.
And that led to bigger things. But it was just one night I just kind of, I shot my shot. We were having a barbecue on my balcony, and I told my dad I'm gonna drop a Chanel purse in the next couple of days, and he thought I was crazy. And I said, this is gonna. I knew it was gonna pop off. I just knew it was unseen at this time.
Yeah.
But I had built a community before that, which helped get to me that level. You know, and all people that like to do giveaways doesn't work that great because they're not consistent. And they don't build a community behind it.
Yeah.
That follows you and associated with the brand.
Right.
But yeah, giveaways led to one or the other, and now it's just for fun.
Yeah.
The giveaways aren't for like marketing purposes or anything like that. It's just it keeps consistent, attraction to the practice.
Yeah.
And I think the patients and my community enjoys them, and plus they're all organic.
Right.
I don't know a winner so far. No one's won the giveaway that I've actually met before, which is always cool. So I always meet new people. So keeps it fun and gives people opportunities to have things that they may never, get or, achieve, at sporting events, playoff tickets, front row, those are cool things as a kid that I always wanted.
Yeah.
And then for someone to just get that for free, it's a pretty cool experience.
Right. And I know you mentioned the primary driver wasn't marketing, but whether it was intentional or not, I think a big part of it was that these are not, let's say, your typical giveaways, meaning you're an orthodontist, you're not giving away braces.
Yeah.
You're giving away things that people who don't necessarily need your service in the moment could still enjoy.
Yeah. There's no ROI on a giveaway.
Yeah.
I always say. So you have to just understand it's part of branding.
Right.
Right. And I get that thing. I'll be at sporting events. People say you're the giveaway guy. That's not what I want to be known as.
Right.
But it just became a thing that's, helped me get to that point.
Yeah.
But you just create that brand awareness. And that's the whole goal behind it, right? Brand awareness where, like I said, all relates back to my original point. You plant the seed, let it grow.
Right.
Right. So when you think of the words braces and Invisalign, I hope my name comes into your mind.
Yeah.
Right. I don't care if you don't come to me, but as long as I'm in the conversation, my marketing has worked.
Exactly.
So.
And I think you kind of touched on it earlier. A lot of people try to, I don't want to say
Replicate.
copy, but imitate, right? Yeah. And it doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, the dentists weren't giving away anything for free before me, I feel like. They were barely giving away a free toothbrush, but that's for a different discussion. But like I say all the time, it's, I started a trend and it's caught on, but a lot of people don't understand that it doesn't work. So there's different thing between marketing for the brand and marketing just for clout.
Right.
Right. So a lot of people see like, oh, I'm getting posted a lot, mentioning my name and things like that. And they try to imitate it because they think it's like cool or something but it doesn't really achieve and help their business. Right.
Right.
So if you're in an office that's far away from your community that you built, giving away an item is not going to really drive you in terms of what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
That's why I say you have to build a community first before you drop, an incentive or, something for marketing schemes and like that. You have to have a community follow you that's within your area. So I always say create a niche, create a community that your office caters to, and then you work around that.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just cool though to see like I've started like a trend.
Yeah, 100%.
But it was never always like that. A lot of people weren't sharing my stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna detour a little bit, but when I started first in ortho school trying to create a social media page, me and my friends would make funny videos, parody videos.
Yeah.
And just before you were doing your own thing yet, and I was looking for a videographer, and we would shoot like Iron Man videos, like parodies, like Orthodontist takes on Iron Man, or
Right.
Orthodontist takes on Breaking Bad, things that were in the culture at the time.
Yeah.
Movies, TV shows, and people would laugh at me because I would make these funny skits. And at the time, that's how I knew I wanted to go viral.
Yes.
It wasn't really working because people weren't really sharing them or commenting.
Right.
And I used to get upset because people I can know people were laughing at me, but it's funny now because the same people try to reach out to me to like repost their stuff.
Right.
So it's just, you have to stay consistent. I always tell people who are trying to go make it in social media, you will get laughed at, you'll get talked about.
Yeah.
You just got to fight through it until it finally makes it.
100%.
Right. And when you make it, then everyone's on your side on that times on things you're doing. So don't get discouraged if you are trying to enter that game into social media.
I think I remember actually you called me about the Iron Man video.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I didn't feel I had the skill set or what, or I didn't see the vision at the time. I didn't end up doing it.
It's funny if you go down on my timeline, you'll see the video. It's a really good video, and I think people didn't want to like entertain at the time. That reels weren't a thing at the time.
Right.
I was posting these when reels it was on my timeline. TikTok I don't even think it was out yet.
No, it wasn't.
It was like 2019, and
yeah,
it was just funny that no one was really enjoying them as like I did. If people were laughing at me, but now everyone's making funny skits.
Right.
Daily,
exactly.
So just gotta fight through the growing pains, and hopefully it all works out.
Yeah. Now I know this from us having conversations because we talked a lot about business.
Yeah.
Be hanging out. I think one of the big investments that you made was kind of in the community, but B in our private schools and the schooling. Tell me a little bit about that.
I always say support the people that support you, and being in a Chaldean community heavily dominated in Metro Detroit, it helps for me to because people support me, and I always give a shout out to our community because they've done so well for me in terms of supporting me and helping me get to where I am today in terms of orthodontics and seeing so many patients. So I always say thank you to the Chaldean community. But the private school and the regular schools, doesn't matter what school you go to, I always ask my patients where they go to school, and then I always support them in any way possible. So we always give free braces at the auctions for every school, every Catholic school pretty much in Metro Detroit.
Yeah.
And people think it's crazy giving out free braces. What they don't understand is that leads to hopefully another sibling needing treatment, right?
Yeah.
That person doesn't know your skill until they see it done on somebody else, right?
Right.
So you're getting someone to trust your skill, and then hopefully they're bringing a floodgate of people to come to you, right? So you're initially
on the relationship.
So people always think it's wild to give something for free. It's not a bad thing because you're bringing in clients to your to your business.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
But the schools have been great, and it allows me to meet a lot of new people and a lot of new faces, and brand. It helps me brand as well because we're giving out
Right.
toothbrushes, water bottles, swag, and I always try to keep it creative in terms of swag we create. I think I'm one of the only orthodontists who's thought of like creative branding in terms of swag.
Yeah.
So I always try to relate to what the kids like these days.
Right.
So if you're going to Catholic school, we do the cool, a wall of water bottles, phone cases, fanny packs like Lululemon, things that I know that kids want to use.
Right.
Well, then you go to the adults, they got the moms and dads. I got to cater to them too.
Sure.
So I look to see what they like and what they're doing. And, obviously Pilates is a big thing going on today.
Yeah.
So I created like a whole Pilates swag line for moms.
Yep. I've been seeing
and
that.
that helps bring, people to post and, market my own business in a different way.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the way to get your name out there. Just what do people like to have?
Right. And I think you did that right because, a lot of people slap their logo on something and call it swag, but it's stuff that people actually want to wear. They're not embarrassed of wearing it or
100%.
whatever. So
I'm a big proponent of making things without the word orthodontics or dental.
yeah.
So everything I wear or market does not have the word orthodontics.
Yeah.
So for instance, this shirt, cursive logo, just Profound. It can be anything.
Right.
Right. It can be a media company. It can be a street brand clothing wear. Anyone can wear it and go out and have that on their shirt, and no one will know it's associated with the orthodontist. Because I won't wear a shirt that has the word orthodontist.
Right.
Why would somebody else wear the shirt with orthodontist? So you always got to cater to the general public.
Right. Speaking of that, where did the name Profound come from?
Profound's actually a cool name that me and my buddy Hussein, he was my roommate in dental school, he put me onto a streetwear that had the word Profound in one of the name, and it was just cool hats that I used to rock.
Yeah.
And I always said, like, the way I like to rock the swag is the way I want to rock my orthodontic swag, right? When I get into the real world, I want to wear things that people be like is cool and
Yeah.
streetwear. So that was like my play on streetwear into the medical industry.
Nice.
And that just, like I said, it all stems back to me enjoying work, right?
Right.
When I enjoy dressing up for work, I like to wear, clothes that I want to wear, not the traditional, like,
Yeah.
scrubs or
Right.
things like that. Because I treat a lot of kids and they want to see something they relate to, right?
It's funny you mentioned that. I don't think I've ever seen you in scrubs.
Yeah, I haven't
I
worn
don't
scrubs
think I've
since
ever
middle school.
seen you in scrubs.
The last time I wore scrubs was 2018. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Now it's just more like whatever's cool and the kids like.
yeah.
So I try to blend it in. And now we make creative stuff with like athletes and try to, during like seasonal stuff, like Jameer Gibbs smiling,
Yeah.
with my logo, or, Kate Cunningham with braces. I try to make it cool so when kids come in, they can see like something different.
Yeah.
So,
So from your vantage point right now, from where you're at right now, because every business owner pivots and learns and ebbs and flows, right? How does where you're at compare to what your day one vision was back when you were in dental
I
school?
don't think this is my vision at all. Like, I don't know how this all happened. When I graduated, I just wanted to have one office and do good work. And it just, like I said, it just led to one to the other. Opportunities happened. I kind of wanted to figure out where I wanted to be, and then Bingham Farms happened. That's like the ideal location for me because it's within Bloomfield Hills.
Yeah.
It can access anybody. And then that just led to new opportunities. Things came up and where I had to grow the practice and, split my time into different locations, and the brand just gained, traction. And then Sterling Heights happened and people were waiting for me to come out there because they weren't driving to Bloomfield Hills.
Right.
So it's been fun, opening new practices. Now I'm at 4 and we have a new doctor in Northville right now, Dr. Mary, who's great. But now I think this is where I want to be and start creating the systems and start,
Sure.
doing what the real business owners do and setting up, a game plan in terms of how to make this functional.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I can't be everywhere.
Yeah.
And we have to let go a little bit to some other staff to like make sure things run smoothly. So that's where I'm at with my mindset.
Yeah.
But in a million years, I would never say this is where I thought I was going to be.
Right. Yeah.
I just thought I was going to be an orthodontist, mastering my skill, my craft.
Yeah.
So it's been a blessing, but it's been fun.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd imagine. Now, of course, life still happens.
Yep.
Right. I know your dad passed away. God rest his
Yep.
soul.
Thank you.
How did you kind of navigate that?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would react to that very differently.
Yeah. That's like a tough situation, That's like the first big tragic thing that happened personally in my life, because out of the ordinary, right? My dad was young, 61 years old. We were hanging out every day. He used to come to the office every day. That was my biggest motivation as my dad, just because I like to enjoy life with my dad, meaning a lot of kids, get older and they kind of forget their parents.
Sure.
My thing was parents first, me second, meaning if we're going on vacation, if we're experiencing a sporting event, my dad's always my plus one, right? If we're going to a networking event with a business, I always liked my dad to see like what's going on in the community and meet people, right? And I think a lot of my friends will tell you that, and people who I met and who know him will tell you that, like, especially at the gym and things like that. But he kind of always told me to keep growing, right? And keep working hard. And at the time when he passed, I kind of gave up on a lot, it was
Sure.
putting Band-Aids on things, buying items that I didn't need, just to cover up, the feelings of myself. And I just thought, this was it. Like, that's it. We had 3 offices at that time. My dad was part of all 3. And I thought I was going to go back to the original one.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to stick to Bingham Farms, live my life. But then things happen in your life where you remember, like, the marathon's not over, right? My dad started something to help me, to get me to where I'm at. And I think it'd be let down if he knew that I was stopping there.
Sure.
So that kind of gave me my growth mindset and trying to keep growing, open another office, some side businesses that we're doing in real estate and things like that. But you just have to remember that, he's the reason why you're here. And you can't let him down, and he's put the things in places for you to succeed. And I think they'll be disappointed if you just stop, half-ass.
Absolutely. And I think you do a great job honoring his legacy, his pictures in every office.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'd like to keep his memory alive with the giveaways, his pictures being seen. And he's always been talked about wherever I go, wherever I stop and, bring up his name. I don't shy away from it.
Sure.
Because my dad was that kind of guy, and everyone knew him, and I think everyone at the office knew him as well. So.
Yeah. And then you took that and you brought things full circle. You
Yep.
opened up a office in your hometown.
Yeah, Sterling Heights just opened up.
Yeah.
That's actually, my dad's dream was to have an office in Sterling Heights,
Yeah.
because it was close to home. He never got to see it, but I'm sure he would love it because, when my dad was around, we didn't really have construction. With the offices we took were just kind of already pre-built
Yes.
from older guys that just retired. So he loved construction, so he would love to see like the progress of these offices being built.
Sure.
That's one of the things I really, really miss is him seeing the creative side of me. Like he never really saw an office I designed.
Right.
So I think he would have really loved that part of, the ortho because he was more into like enjoying things being built and seeing
Exactly.
things happen. But
Yeah.
I know he's watching down and hopefully he's proud.
Oh, 100% he's proud.
Yep.
And so I think Sterling Heights was kind of the first one you built out.
Yeah.
And then now you've built out,
Yeah.
I mean, is it safe to call it your flagship location?
Yeah, Bingham Farms is definitely the flagship. That's my OG office, it's home based. It's what got me started, and that's like their biggest one. And it's a really beautiful office. Next door is my wife, so she gets to, I see her every day now at work, and she's built a flagship location. But it has everything I wanted in there, right? It's like I always say it's like a memoir to like what I've built, right? You got the greatest athletes signatures on the wall: Tom Brady, Ronaldo, Messi, Curry. You got all the people who I've seen from athletes personally. I think as a kid, this is like the ideal office that you would want to see if you came into an orthodontist office, right?
Yeah.
So come check us out on 13 and Telegraph.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. What's next for Profound?
Profound, we're just gonna keep growing it. Maybe hopefully, start a educational program. That's what I'm trying to do, is to start catering to dentists. It's kind of inspired me a little bit, to teach dentists, start doing lectures, and hopefully showcase how to market to other dentists. But right now, I think we're good at 4 locations, just trying to set up the systems and
Dial it in.
learn, and then just keep growing the social media, man. My goal is hopefully in a couple of years, maybe less than 2, have 100,000 followers, organic followers, not fake followers, and just create a dominance in the social media market, and hopefully create a great presence in Michigan.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you. I always appreciate you supporting me,
Of course.
and I look forward to continuing to work with you. So I think that was a great first episode. Thanks, man.
Keep supporting Smile Theory. It's going to be great things. If you're a dentist in the area, orthodontist, definitely check him out. Top-notch work. I've only been working with him specifically, and I think his quality shows. So keep up the good work, man. I love seeing that. I love seeing your growth, and I've seen him from day one where he started, and where he's at now is unimaginable.
Likewise, man.
Yeah,
I'm
keep it
glad
up,
to be on
man.
this journey with you. Thanks,
Of course, you got it, brother.
man.